The fan has been turned on. It's raining, but it's also like hot. Anyway, yeah. God damn it, ad! Yes! The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree. It shows a great detail of attention to deal. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. Ryunosuke, just say the front. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes! It's the front of the back of the card that's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched a plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of this business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? You and me, ouchie. The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there on the stand... Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? The waiter, the orders. Was it he who told you not to mention that you've seen the foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it. Who hold it? Who held it? Hold it. There we go. Inspector Hosonaga. You look really sus with the glasses, man. Oh no, the baby's pulling the mustache again. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand over the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course! Your salary must be... I was working undercover. Oh. Sorry. Undercover. Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of this person's presence having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume. that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you require these witnesses to be in an agreement. Would that be correct? It's gonna sound like Strongheart if I do that. Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Bang. Jesus Christ, this came out of nowhere. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interests not to pursue that idea. Hosonaga! The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. That's... the first game really does hone in on the ellipses. A little too much for my taste, but it is what it is. I'm just glad the second game, the pacing is way better. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. What is happening here? That was late, sorry. God damn it, Ad. Okay. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses, not the baby, not to make mention of her in their testimonies. It must be now up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. I'm going to say something, but it's going to be spoiler, so I'll hold my tongue. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly... I did not read that. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we now discovered that this premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. But, Your Excellency! That would mean the missing of the noon deadline of the ruling order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain! Ouchie, it doesn't matter, bruh. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such passion. Calm yourself, counsel. Also, the reader, can you do it right? I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence my ruling in this courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. Huh. At once, Your Excellency. But, but that means you're going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. Ouchie is like a preppy. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So, it won't be a problem? Jesus Christ, he's dying again. Oh, look at this. Nothing will get in my way. Except your disease. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency! Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. But we are soldiering on. Dun, 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 dun. Little jingle gets me. Very nice. Honestly, the whole OST for this game is banging. Alright, back in the antechamber. I do like the chalk board thing, even though I'm allergic to chalk. Excellent work, Hiroinosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth, Mom's spaghetti. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, he'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it. It's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are the one thing I am sure of. Okay, Apollo Justice. Yes, I can see that. So about this young gentlewoman, thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up, bang. There we go. God damn it again! These ads are getting out of hand. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective. He apprehended his suspect with other moments today. Yes, and because I was shot in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Oh my god, I was dipping into Sholmes territory. Not yet, not yet. Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seemed you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. He has a point. Well, it makes no difference, lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't even help his best friend at the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Damn, that hurts. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're up against. Ouchie! Oh, the gentlewoman whose involvement of our police bureau went extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that the pair of you will put up a good fight, right to the last. Thank you. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Though, she's so... I don't know, there's just something... Defendant Naruhodo! Sorry, I was distracted. Court recess is over. Please stop simping with Susato-san and make your way back to the courtroom at once. Yes, sir. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit him. Ah, yeah! Let's go, Kazuma. Kazuma. What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So, this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial, even though I just thanked you just now, but you can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. Sukiyaki. With an extra large portion, of course. That's cute. Savor these moments, y'all. Shit's going down.